Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Yes, today we're going to talk about a new story that's got a lot of people bloody talking again. Yes, the councils in England are paying school transport costs for about 470,000 pupils. Yes, that's nearly 500,000 children who travel to school, and it is being funded by the local authorities. Now you might think, oh, that's fair enough, not wrong with that, kids have to get to school, don't they? But taxis aren't cheap, mate. No, they're not. They're bloody expensive. So let's dig into this and find out what's going on and why this actually matters and who's involved and what could change. And as always, we'll keep it light. This isn't doom and gloom lecture, I promise. There's going to be no jokes, because I got a taxi the other day to the airport, which is only what, 15 minutes away, and it cost me £40. Do the maths. We're going to find out what's going on in this video, starting right now.
Analyzing the news.
Yeah, England is a joke. And I'm British and I should be proud of being British and all that. Patriotism. But the thing is, it's a bit lunacy, isn't it? Really, because there's only so much money in the bank. There's only so much money that the local authorities have got, and this is a big issue that's hit their headlines very recently. So what does it mean when we say councils are paying transport or school transport costs? What does it mean? What's going on, right? Is it a big issue? Should we be concerned about it? Yeah, we bloody should. It means that the local councils are covering the costs of getting some pupils to and from school. This is not just buses. In many cases, it involves taxis or private hire vehicles. Now, you might think, well, kids do need to get to school. But yeah, getting the bus is quite cheap. Getting a taxi bloody isn't. The figure is around 470,000 pupils comes from the estimate saying around 6% of school children under the age of 16 in England are eligible for such transport help. A large share of those are pupils with special education needs and disabilities, SEND, that's what they call it, SEND, or mobility issues. Right, it's all right. It makes sense. If your kid can't get to school, fair enough, right? But this is really expensive. This is seriously expensive. So we're not just talking about kids too far from school, though that plays a role. We're also talking about kids who need special support. Why is this number so high? That's the big question, right? You might wonder why 470,000. It seems a lot and it's a big number, and here's some reasons why. Let's look into it, because it's important. Because at the end of the day, this money has to be responsibly spent, right? It's responsible spending, right? Because there's only so much money in the local authority, and at the minute it's being stretched. And if you don't believe me, you try and book a doctor's appointment, you ain't getting one, mate, right? And why is that? Because the money isn't there. Where is this bloody money? So this is one thing that's come out on Sky News, BBC News today, and we're going to cover that because obviously it's stuff that we don't necessarily know about, but we need to pay attention to it. Right, let's get an image up on the screen so you can see for yourself what's bloody going on. Right, here it is. Let's see. Right, so got a picture of a taxi there. We all know what a taxi looks like. We all know how much it bloody costs to hire a taxi. We're going out on a night out with your mates. It's a treat, isn't it? You get a taxi, well, you split the cost because it's expensive. If you go abroad, you get a taxi from the airport. It's very expensive. I went to Benidorm a couple of weeks ago and my flight only cost 50 quid. £50, that's cheap as chips. But to get from Alicante Airport to Benidorm, That didn't cost 50 quid, it cost 90 euros, which is about 80 quid, 80 pound, right? So it's not cheap, and taxis tend to be a lot cheaper in Spain than they do England, but England is very expensive. So again, why 470,000? That seems big. Here are some reasons. So SEND, that's what they call it, SEND/EHCPS. They've got all these abbreviations, but they're trying to narrow it down to keep it simple. But basically, the number of pupils with education, health and care plans has grown in the last couple of years. More families are applying for help and more children are qualifying, and that means more transport needs. Have you not noticed that? People are getting a bit crazy at the moment. What is going on? Mental health has gone through the roof. People don't even know who they are anymore. Do you know who you are? Have you got a sense of identity? Are you confused? Because a lot of people are confused. People don't know what's going on. They're just stressed out, and you're seeing it grow all the time. So there's been an influx, a huge volume of this mental health. When I say mental health, people aren't well, and it's right in it. How are you feeling? Do you feel the difference between now and 7 years ago, back in 2018? Have you seen a shift in the last 7 years? And it seems to be getting consistently worse and worse. It's like this blanket of fear and doom and gloom hovering over all of us, and prices are rising, and all the news is negative and trying to distress us all the time, isn't it? But again, we've got to share the news because we have to know what's bloody going on. But again, I'm going to explain it to you in a nicer way, so you don't have to get all stressed out. Let's turn that horrible music off. It's scary, isn't it? Okay, so again, number 2, let's look at this. So we said, obviously, there's more pupils in education with health care plans, or PEP, personal education plans. That's what they usually call it in the world of local authority. There's limited local school places. Again, there's not enough schools, and there's too many bloody kids. That's what it boils down to. They're not building enough schools, but more children are being born, which is fine. That's what humans do. We procreate. That's lovely. That's great. But the infrastructure's not there. There's not enough skills. Again, there's too many kids. Okay, build a school. No, we ain't doing that, mate. We're going to put them in a taxi and send him other side of the country. Well, that doesn't make any sense, does it? But this is what they're saying. This is why it is. Limited local school places. That's what they put it down to. So what we'll do, we'll spend £1,000 a week on a taxi to get the kid to school. It doesn't matter if they live in England, they can go to Scotland. That's irresponsible spending. Sometimes the closest school that they can provide for the children's needs are far away. Well, that's what they say. Okay. So councils have to pay for longer journeys. Rising transport costs as well. That's a big one. Fuel, wages, insurance, all those are going up. And when you need specialist vehicles like wheelchair accessibility, vans, for instance, it's even more expensive. Individual transport instead of group transport, that's going to build up. And some pupils, for safety or medical behavioural reasons, they cannot ride on regular school buses. They need one-to-one travel. And that is very costly. Very costly indeed. It's very expensive. Now think about it. We're talking millions of pounds here, mate. This isn't bloody pocket change, is it? This costs an absolute fortune, and all this money, it's not being spent properly, is it? And why is that? Let me know in the comments, what's your opinion? Why are they doing it? Why don't they just build another school? So when you add it all up together, the costs do pile up. And that's why so many pupils are eligible for council-funded transport. That's what they call it. And how much is being spent on all this? Well, let's talk about money. This is where it gets a bit eye-watering, okay? Councils are spending on SEND transport alone has reached a record. Get on this. This is England. This is England. £2.26 billion in 2003 to 2024 on taxis. £2.26 billion. And whose is that money? It's yours. To put that cost in context, that means that's more than double what was spent a few years ago. In some places, the average cost per send pupil is about £8,900 per year just for transport. Per pupil. £8,900. One child, on average, per year. I'm in the wrong job. Should I be a taxi driver? A private taxi driver? So yeah, that is not a pocket change issue for local councils, isn't it? And who's most affected? The human side, of course. We always are. The numbers are one thing, but behind each number is a person, a child, a family. People with SEND or mobility issues are often the ones that need it the most, and they need the most support, and that's fair enough. In some cases, children travel alone, but then they're not able to get buses. They can't go in groups because that's what their plan needs. So they tailor it around the child's needs. Again, that's fine, but we're living in a country that taxes are going up and up and up. So that tells you there's not enough money for this irresponsible spending. We have to think about this different. I'm not a politician, I don't know all the answers. I'm only telling you what's bloody going on. Because some parents tell stories about driving children long distances because there was no local transport options. And rural areas, that's like in the country and things like that, they're all facing extra challenges as well. Longer distances, fewer alternatives, fewer transport operators. And there's less bus drivers because they're not getting paid the right amount of money, are they? Lunacy. I don't know why I'm showing you her. You know who that is, don't you? Let me put a picture up. She's the one who's doing... she decides the budget. Do you not recognise her? I did a video on this the other day. But she is the head of the exchange. She's the one who decides the budget and all that. So, yeah. And that happens in November 2025. So wait out for that, guys, because prices are going to go up, taxes are going to go up. Why? Why can't they just think, use the brain, and don't be irresponsible with spending? There must be another way. Like build more schools. There you go. There's the answer for you. Excuse me. It's not rocket science. There aren't just abstract numbers. These numbers represent daily routines, safety concerns, resources, and juggling for families. And I get all that. Remember, this isn't taking away from children who can't get to school. But the argument is, why are they spending all this money on taxis when they can just build more schools? No big system is perfect, I get that. And here are some criticisms and challenges. So we've got to look at sustainability. Many councils argue that the cost is becoming unsustainable. I know people who work in the local authority. I know them. And I know what's going on. And they're not sitting there in a life of luxury. They're panicking because there's not enough money in the pot. That's how it works. They have budgets. There's only so much money. And they're burning money just trying to meet legal duties. But is it a waste? There are some reports of absurd routing. For example, a taxi going one way for one pupil and another going the opposite way. Better route planning might save money. Yeah? Makes sense, doesn't it? Some councils have had a much heavier burden than others, and rural authorities or those with fewer local SEND. I have to keep on saying that, SEND. Remember, it's abbreviation to keep things simple. School places feel it a lot more. So funding gaps, like councils say, they don't always get enough support from the central government or central local authority. Well, it is the government, because the government dishes out all the money to all the local authorities, don't they? They say that they feel stuck trying to do more with less. They've only got so much money, but they've got to spend it on taxis. So if you say to your local authority, why don't you employ a doctor. So patient waiting times lowered. So people can, no, we can't do that. Why? Because we're spending it on Mr. Taxi Man. It's not right, is it? What do you think? Let me know. I don't know. What do you think? We're trying to make sense of this confusing and somewhat scary world that we live in. But we're trying to understand it, aren't we? So also the legal angle. So you've got to look at that. Councils are required by law to provide transport support in certain cases. For example, when the nearest suitable school is beyond a set distance, that could be one. But sustainability and suitable schools is sometimes very it's down to what can I say? Interpretation. That's what it is. You hear it all the time. So you might have a mother say, "Oh, my Billy, he has to go that school because he's got ADHD." But the reality is, he might not have ADHD. Maybe it's because he's watching Fortnite all day, playing TikTok and eating sugar. Maybe he needs to be on a balanced diet. It's easy to just say, right, there you go, this is the way it is. But it's going to collapse, guys. We already know that. It's probably already collapsed. It's just that we're not seeing it yet. But we will see it. We will see it. It's coming. And I'm not trying to scare you. This is how it works. It's not rocket science. If there's not enough money, it's going to go bust. We're already in trillions of pounds worth of debt at the moment. And we're a world power. How can we be a world power if we're in trillions of pounds worth of debt? Think about it. That money's got to come from somewhere. And the economy isn't growing. There's not as many jobs. AI is taking over, which is scary in itself. But let's not look at that at the moment. Let's not look at the bigger picture, but that's basically what it is. So what's being proposed or already being done to ease this pressure? This is what they said. The government has pledged £740 million for capital funding to improve schools, accessibility and support inclusion in local mainstream schools. They're doing it again. Build more schools. It's not hard, mate. But this is what they say. They don't say we're going to build more hospitals, we're going to build more schools. What they're saying is, no, we're going to keep schools as they are, and we're just going to pay for the children to travel around the country in a taxi. Lunacy. Is it? Is it lunacy? Have I got something wrong here? Am I missing something? Let me know. You've got an opinion. You're a taxpayer, aren't you? And even if you don't work, you still pay tax because you eat food, don't you? You pay tax on that food. You got VAT, value-added tax. Everything's taxed. Everything. Tax is your money, and you're spending it. Or should I say, you're giving it to the local authority, and it's down to them that you've nominated to be sensible with that spending. Part of the aim is to reduce, this is what they said, the reliance on special distance schools or specific distance schools so that more children can attend sustainable places locally. This is all the cock and bull stories that they're coming out with, but none of it actually makes any bloody sense really when you think about it, does it? Doesn't make sense. So reform, that was the thing that came out. It came out in a place called Runcorn originally. That was about 6 months ago. But that sort of died down. Now I don't know what's going on with that. But they're trying to reform something to the SEND system, and they hope for to better match pupils to nearby schools and reduce distances and improve local provision. Again, they say all these lovely things, but nothing ever happens, does it? Everything's upside down, everything's backwards. They'll say one thing and do another, but a good thing is we're sort of grasping this now, aren't we? We're starting to understand the game. Some call for more central planning. This is what people want. Central planning. Build more schools. Build more businesses. Build more hospitals. But what they're doing, they're saying shared transport resources. That means you bring other local authorities in, other councils. You take money from their pot. Now, It's like cancer, isn't it? If you don't control cancer and you can't find the cancer, you can't get rid of it. But that's what you should do. You find the root of the problem so then you can fix it. But they don't do that. They'll get it and they'll spread it. Before you know it, you can't control them. I'm not saying this is a cancer. This is not the children's fault. It's not the parents' fault. This is about spending. Some call for more central planning. Like I say, it's a big thing. But nothing's happening. In short, the idea is to try to reduce long distance travel, reduce costs. This is what the politicians say. We've got to reduce costs. We've got to bring children closer to homeschooling if possible. But they're saying that, but they're not doing it. They're not doing it. This is... Okay, you might say cool money and transport, but why should I care? It's got nothing to do with me. Why am I even watching this stupid video? And I get that. I get it. But you've got to understand taxpayer impact. You are a taxpayer. And the costs come from public funds. You are the public fund. If transport costs go up, which they bloody will, that pressure on other services like roads, libraries, social care, it's all going to be affected. You've got equity and fairness. Now we've got to look at this. Every child should have a fair access to education. We get that. But then some people say, what's the bloody point? Because AI is going to take all the jobs. Is that far-fetched? Is it really? No, it's bloody realistic. It really is. They reckon by 2030, the world's going to be completely different. And to be honest, I agree. But if transport is a barrier, some children are at a disadvantage. So future planning, if these costs keep rising again, which they will, councils may be forced, this is what they said, to cut in other areas or tighten eligibility rules. That means they're not going to stop doing it. So what does that mean? Well, we're going to cut money. We're going to not pay as many nurses. We don't need nurses. We don't need more teachers. We don't need more police. We're going to get rid of them. And we're going to put all our money into taxis. Yeah. Are they trying to wind us up? Crazy stuff. Literally crazy. So there you go. I don't want to go on too much about this. But yeah, there you go. That is what is going on in the world so far. There's a lot more to it than that. I'm only touching the surface. But just be aware, this is what's happening. And this is costing literally a lot of money. And I think the headline, 470,000 is a big wake-up call, really. We can't pretend that transport is a small part of schooling anymore. In fact, it probably costs more than actually the child in school. If a teacher only gets, 25 grand a year to teach the kid, and each kid's getting, £9,000 just to bloody get them there. Flipping heck. Not good, is it? Really? But look into it. Anyway, guys, this was on the BBC News today, and I thought I'd cover it. Go on there, go on BBC News, and you'll find out a lot more. But yeah, that's basically in a nutshell of what's bloody going on. So I hope you've learned something. I hope I've informed you in some sort of way. If I have, great. But if I haven't, blame this woman. Because she's the one who makes all the decisions. Her and her little mates who hide in the background. I did a video about her the other day. Look at that, there she is there. There's a close-up of her. Yeah. But she's the voice behind the decisions. But doesn't necessarily mean she's making the decisions. But she will be the one that announces it in November 2025. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. I'm only telling you because knowledge is power. And now you know. Until next time, guys. I'll see you later.
Analyzing the news.